In this box, I'm supposed to have about 60 terabytes of SSD drives, and in this bag from Amazon I have some extra equipment that I plan to use to get these SSDs to work with a regular desktop computer. So let me open these boxes and see what exactly I have got. So these are server SSDs from a Dell server. Two of these, the black ones, are SAS drives, and you can see that both of them are 15.36 terabytes each. These ones are also 15.36 terabyte each, but these ones are PCI Express Gen 4. So in total, I have about 60 terabyte of SSD storage over here, and don't ask me how much I had to pay for these. For these SAS drives, you would need some sort of HBA, and you could use something like this, which is an old Dell HBA adapter, and this one is only 6 gigabits per second. It supports PCI Express 2.0 only, so it will be a choke for these modern SSD drives. But still, this one is good enough to test the SSDs and see if they are working. If you would want to have full speed of these SSDs, then you need either native SAS 12 gigabits per second support, for example, like you can find on a recently tested Gigabyte AMD EPYC motherboard, or you would need a modern HBA adapter like this that supports PCI Express 3.0 and provides you all the speed you need. On the other hand, these SSDs are PCI Express 4.0, and even though if you look at the connector over here, they both have exactly the same connector, which is a SAS connector. Over here, you can see that they actually these PCI Express ones have some extra pins over here, while this one has only a splitter, this one has some extra pins. So, to be able to use this PCI Express SSD, I have bought some adapters from Amazon, and I have hopes that this one will work in a PCI Express X4 slot with a simple adapter. So let me show you what that adapter is. So the adapters came to me in a sealed box, and this box looks kind of simple, but it's made of some sort of cardboard that feels really nice to touch. And inside we have a very basic screwdriver, then we have a couple of screws, so these ones are I believe for SSD, and these screws are I believe is to install the adapter inside your chassis. Then we also have a lot of warnings or some sort of a warning card instead of a warranty card, but I guess it's just basic EU regulation warnings, whatever it is. But now comes the adapter itself, and it looks like this. So as you can see, this is a PCI Express X4 to U2 adapter. And of course it's made in China, it's just sold by Amazon. So over here I shall be able to install this PCI Express NVMe SSD in U2 form. Let me try that. And of course Dell is using non-standard Phillips screws over here, so I need to find the right bit to remove it from this bracket. And just like that, this PCI Express NVMe SSD is installed into this PCI Express X42 U.2 adapter, and I have hopes that it's gonna work. So now I'm going to install it into a PCI Express X4 slot and see if this SSD is detected and what kind of speed I can expect. So now I have tested both of the PCI Express SSDs with my X99 test bench. Here I have one of the SSDs installed into the PCI Express 3.0 X4 slot. The other SSD has already been tested, and the SSD is working perfectly fine. Both of them are fully detected and give me the expected speed results. As you can see here, the SSD's maximum transfer speed is PCI Express 4.0 X4, But of course on X99 motherboard we get only PCI Express 3.0 and the speeds are within the range of PCI Express 3.0 SSDs. The time span for the SSD Crystal Disk Mark benchmark is also totally fine. It was actually under 4 minutes. I just had to spend some extra time starting and stopping the timer itself and running back and forth from my test bench. So if you have some of these NVMe SSDs in SAS form factor, then I can strongly recommend such adapter. Of course, the link will be in the video description. Testing the SAS SSDs turned out to be more complicated than I thought. Here I have a Dell HBA cross-flush to IT mode, so it just works as a regular SAS adapter, and I have tried both of the SAS SSDs. They did not show a single sign of life. Then I have tried with my regular SATA SSD and it worked just fine. I have tried all possible suggestions from the internet. None of the two SSDs would show any signs of life. So I suspect that this cable that I use, that comes from a Dell server, is simply not compatible or not following the SAS standard. It could be that this SAS cable relies on the Dell breakout boarder in the server to properly provide power and connections to the SSD to function, so I have ordered another cable to test and we'll see how that works. It's another day, and as I have suspected, the Dell SAS cable that I used is not compatible to connect SSDs straight to the controller. I have bought a standard SAS cable, connected it to the controller, connected to the SSD, everything works, both of the SSDs are tested, and since this controller I have is rather old one, it's a PCI Express 2.0 6GB SATA instead of 12GB as these SSDs support, the speed is kind of limited. It's like a standard SATA SSD speed, which is not bad at all. It's much faster than a hard drive, but it's about half of what these SSDs can do, I guess. Or maybe I'm just getting numbers wrong. Anyway, these SAS SSDs are not detected by Crystal Disk Info, so I can't really get information in Crystal Disk Info about these SSDs. These C and D drives, these are my system drive and NVMe drive connected over there. So I had to use another tool called this one, SmartCTL, and this one gives me all the information about the SSD in command line form. So here we can see information about this 15.3 terabyte gigantic SSD. Here is all the information about reads, writes, verifies, and how many errors we get. Basically, the SSD is in a pretty good shape and it still has lots of lifespan. So I hope these SSDs will serve me well and for long, or if I sell them, they will serve someone who buys them.